the ground for new security mechanism in Northeast Asia. It's notable that special advisor to South Korean president told during the last summit that North Korea can ultimately become military ally of United States. North Korea made it clear that there are no eternal enemies. The idea of that level of cooperation may seem fantastical, but it is not new and has already attracted attention of experts. Particularly William McKinney, who served in the Korean Peninsula Energy Development Organization in North Korea, proposed in his article idea of building United States ROK-DPRK triangular partnership or relationship. The author recommends the United States to shift from the current line separating North Korea and China from South Korea and the United States. Rather, the United States should befriend and actively work to empower both North and South Korea to balance against China. In this way, the United States could more actively and positively shape the future of the Northeast Asian region. But to make it possible, the United States should not just make peace with North Korea, but also build a kind of constructive relationship with Pyongyang. The refusal of the United States to normalize relations with the DPRK could lay the groundwork for China-DPRK-ROK triangle. The next option prospect is participation of the United States in economic projects on the Korean Peninsula. It's not a secret that there are businessmen in the United States, ROK, and European countries which are waiting for sanctions relief in order to start business with North Korea. This country, rich in natural, biological, and human resources, seems prospective market, and now it is being transformed. Gradual normalization between United States and North Korea would make it possible for American businessmen to work there constantly, and it would allow them, United States, to spread soft power and serve as a security guarantee for North Korea. Indeed, the United States will not attack North Korea if there are Americans on its territory. It would also partially compensate the absence of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Another option is participation of the United States in so-called trans-Korean projects of economic cooperation implemented by Russia and both Korean states. These projects have not only economical importance, but also can promote inter-Korean rapprochement and integration, and thus have peacekeeping potential. Participation of the United States in these projects would not only help to interact with both states of Korean Peninsula, but also would become one of the few points of contact with Russia. Now let's consider the main obstacles to normalization. First of all, these are different positions of the main participants. The position of North Korea can be considered as proactive. North Korea, feeling an urgent need for changes, started restoring and developing its diplomatic and foreign relations. And the results to date are impressive. They include numerous summits. Kim Jong-un has skillfully played a position of interest between the United States and China. North Korea sought a rapprochement with China as a leverage to bring Trump to a negotiating table. And in the same way, North Korea used the dialogue with the United States to put pressure on China. Along with dialogue with the United States, North Korea actively developed inter-Korean relations, and these events forced China to intensify its North Korean diplomacy. North Korea has reminded China of its strategic importance. As for China, it seems to take a reactive position. North Korea is of particular interest to China, both as a buffer territory and bargaining chip in negotiations with the United States. And faced with an American president willing to talk with North Korean leader, China felt the need to restore its influence on North Korea. At the same time, while China considers the Korean Peninsula as its sphere of influence, it is not interested in any significant changes. It benefits from maintaining status quo, permanent tension without worsening or improving situation. For this reason, China would not favor North Korea establishing closer ties with the United States or ROK. It will seek to control or interfere into current dialogue processes. Experts point that even during the first summit of Trump and Kim, Beijing was the third virtual participant in the negotiations. And agreement reached in Singapore, for all its vagueness, was fully in China's interests. The same can be said about the second summit, which finished with no result, but with a door opened for dialogue. As for the United States, their position also seems reactive. Current dialogue with North Korea appears to reprise the situation of the past, when inter-Korean rapprochements and the threat of changes in the region resulted in the United States opening to a dialogue with North Korea. North Koreans always responded to these signals and made attempts to normalize relations, but these efforts failed. With the Trump presidency, there is a possibility of changes, though the United States strategy still appears to rely upon Cold War approaches. It's possible that Donald Trump has his own vision of development of relations with the DPRK, but it should be remembered that he may not have the same power in the United States as Kim Jong-un in the DPRK. Another obstacle to achieving agreement between the United States and North Korea is obvious divergence between their official and real goals in the dialogue. Official declared goals are well known. It is denuclearization and exchange of security guarantees for DPRK. We will not spend time on official concepts. They are also well known. CVID model. United States insists on its CVID model, North Korea insists on its own CVID model, providing for denuclearization of Korean Peninsula. Approaches proposed by experts seem more flexible and interesting. They are managing deterrence. This approach is aimed not at elimination of North Korean nuclear weapon, but at its quantitative and qualitative limitation. Roadmap of Siegfried Hacker offers not denuclearization, but demilitarization of North Korean nuclear and missile programs. And the model proposed by Chinese scholars, which provides living North Korea with a small amount of nuclear weapon. Each of the considered approaches has its weaknesses and strengths, but they have common drawback. Only North Korea is considered as the object of denuclearization, which contradicts the very concept of denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. And it should be noted that none of these approaches takes into account the motivational factors for North Korea to possess nuclear weapons and its strategic goals. There are different approaches to assessing motivations behind North Korean nuclear program. North Korea is an isolated state, hyper-realist state, and revisionist state. In my opinion, North Korea is surely a realist state. If we compare statements of its leadership and its official statements in state media with the main basics of approach to foreign relations, political realism, we see that they have much in common. As for motivations to possess nuclear weapons, researchers dealing with this issue single out the following factors motivating all countries to develop nuclear weapons: security considerations, of status and prestige, internal factors, and factor of technical progress. For North Korea, a full set of motivating factors would look like this. Now we see that even the most flexible approaches to denuclearization do not consider these factors. They provide a compensation for North Korean nuclear weapons as a means of security only. But what about other functions of this weapon? What about prestige, ideology, regime survivability, and inability to counter potential enemy by conventional weapons? How can it be compensated, and will it be compensated? And since nuclear deterrent has been created for achieving certain geopolitical goals, it's logical that North Korea can give it up only after having achieved these goals. What are these goals? Let's try to understand it. Reunification is undoubtedly one of them, but reunification by force or via absorption of one system by another is impossible and technically unfeasible. It is well understood both in South and North Korea. North Korea has its own vision of reunification, unchanged for decades, one nation, two systems concept. Its rather coexistence and